How can a single habit slowly take control of a person's life? Why are children and adolescents especially vulnerable to drug addiction? Let's understand the causes, effects and prevention of drug addiction. Question may ask like, what do you understand by the term substance abuse or drug addiction as a behavioral problem or personality disorder of the children and adolescents? What is drug addiction? Write about its prevention and treatment in detail. Meaning of drug addiction. Drug addiction is the personality disorder. The right concept of drug addiction is clearly the drugs related with intoxication, and addiction is related to psychological dependence on something may be referred to as our addiction for that thing. The habit of taking intoxicating drugs. In fact, drugs are taken to protect as well as curing always ourselves from illness or diseases. All drugs are so helpful to us. If drug is taken in excess, then it proves fatal, means side effects. But today the drug word is defined associated with intoxication. These drugs affect one's body and mind. Drugs are useful as well as harmful. Now, the question is which drug is useful and which is not useful. Useful drugs are taken as a dose for removing disease. But today, the word drug has been changed in the manner of bad meaning. Drugs creates bad habits like alcoholism, stealing, pickpocketing, prostitution and gambling, etc. These all habits effects on society and individual. If one's adopted in one's behavior means drugs, it becomes quite difficult to get rid of in respect of their too damaging physical and social consequences. It is correct when one takes the intoxicating drug, more he becomes altogether dependent on it. It means its casual intake and ordinary habit. Drug addiction may take the shape of a quite dangerous personality disorder. Effects of drug addiction. The initial effects of drugs. Intoxicating drugs are too powerful to exercise instant effect on the mind and the body of the individual. These drugs have effect on mind directly. If one takes it for fondness, after that he is habitual of it. He likes and use them again and again. Many people take drugs for removing tension, stress, pain, worries, etc. And some are for joy, happiness and for fulfillment. Conversion into a habit. If first dose of an intoxicating drug, their initial instant effect is quite powerful in persuading or compelling the individual for taking the second or more. Gradually its use is turned into an essential routine and make habit. Developing into a personality disorder. Drugs make an individual quite handicapped in terms of his proper physical, physiological and psychological functioning. The personality disorder associated with drug addiction stands for the physiological and psychological state of an individual which is resulted through the prolonged and excessive use of an intoxicating drug. So, it is true to live and work only for consuming the drug. Presence of withdrawal symptoms. The increasing physiological and psychological dependence of the individual on the intoxicating drugs. Drugs taker becomes quite restless, perturbed, uneasy, sad and tense. His pains and agonies get intensified with the denial of the drug and passage of the time. Tolerance for the heavy doses of the drugs. Once used for any account of intoxicating drugs, they are habituated for their excessive and prolonged use. More they use a drug, more accustomed and habitual their mind and body become to hear its effect. But he takes it frequently more and more heavy doses of a drug. Types of drug addiction. Stimulant drugs. These types of drugs stimulate the brain and sympathetic nervous system. These drugs are cocaine, caffeine, nicotine, etc. Sedative drugs. These drugs slow down the activities of an organism and diminish the response of the brain and nervous system. Deliriant or mind-blowing drugs. These drugs produce transient states resembling psychoses, resulting confusion, distortion in thinking process. Even false sense of adequacy gives rise to incidents of reckless driving and other antisocial doing. Prevention and treatment of drug addiction. In the beginning, to educate the public and convince the ill effect of drugs intake. For removing frustration, tensions and anxieties among the youth, there is a need of restructurization of unhealthy environment. Even education system should be reshaped as to include job-oriented and employment-based courses. Provision for educating children through various curricular and co-curricular activities about the menace of the drug addiction. We should be channelized drug intaker into constructive and creative projects like rural reconstruction welfare of society. It will provide them a sense of purpose and gives opportunity for new experiences of life. It is a suggestion that parents and elders should not take such medicines, which carry strong intoxicating efforts. The fact is to keep ban on intoxicating drugs. To avoid this type of bad habits, parents and teachers should be quite vigilant about the company and living style of their wards, especially during adolescence. Drug trafficking should be checked through strict social and legal means. In other way, it should be carefully watched and strictly dealt through social and legal provisions. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share for more videos.